Yeah, you already know what it is. It's your boy Jay George, and I just finished rewatching The Office, so I thought, hey, let's revisit some of these characters and make a tier list ranking them. Let's go. Michael Scott, right off the bat, the head honcho, the one of the focal points, the driving factors of the show. We're gonna put him in the A tier. Now he's not S tier because he's not a godlike character on the show. He's got a lot of faults, but still, memorable character, iconic character, has a lot of great moments, and we see him deal with his faults throughout the show. So that's easy A tier. Oscar Martinez, we're going to put him in the B tier. Oscar brings a lot of diversity to the show. He is Latino, he is gay, and ironically, he also plays one of the straight man characters on the show to all of the shenanigans that goes on in the office. But what we get to see with him and some of the other straight laced characters, we get to see them unravel towards the end of the series. So there's a lot of fun to be had with Oscar, who I think plays a great auxiliary character. Up next, we got David Wallace. I'm going to put him in the B tier because he is, I think, a great character. He's not as overbearing as the other corporate characters are, and he gives Michael Scott a lot of leeway and seems to put up with Michael's bizarre shenanigans and Andy's too, who later becomes manager. So David Wallace is an easy B character. He's not around as much, but he's around enough to make it to the B tier. Gabe from Florida is an easy D tier character. There is nothing redeeming about this character. He's offensive to look at. He's a weird dude. I don't even know how he ends up dating Erin for as long as he did, but there's just nothing redeeming about Gabe, and that's just the way he is made to be on the show. So D tier for him. Jim Halpert, you would think I'd put him in the A tier or maybe even the S tier, but there's just something about him that makes him come off at times as a bit of a hipster douche. Um, but I mean, obviously, he's a fun character, one of the focal points of the show. But I'm going to put him in the B tier because he's not exactly. There's something as I watch the show again. There's something that takes me away from him to put him at the A tier. Kevin Malone is an A tier character for me. Self aware, full force with who he is and what he does. I mean, when I say self aware, he's self aware at times. And the older I get, the more and more I relate to him spilling his chili. So that's an easy A tier character for me. Our first S tier character goes to Jo Bennett. While she's not there a lot in comparison to some of these other characters, she is a total force of nature on the show. She is such an epic character in the way she's presented as a it's like I said, she's a godlike character on the show and commands that type of respect. That's an S tier character for me right there. Phyllis is that's a C tier character for me because she's just kind of there. Yeah, she has her moments, not a lot of crazy developments. Much more of an auxiliary character compared to someone like Oscar, and she's just there. Nellie Bertram was originally going to be on my S tier, but as I rewatched the show, I realized, you know what? Nellie is a human being. Kind of like Michael Scott, just as cartoonistic as she can be, she is very much a human being on the show, and we see her deal with a lot of the voids in her life. But still, fantastic character, really well written character. Charles Minor, I hardly know her. He is going to be in the D tier. This guy, again, kind of like Gabe, he's kind of this negative force that comes into the office. There's nothing really positive that comes out of him. And while he is initially presented as an S tier level character in the beginning, especially with the way he is with the way the women are with him in the office and how they react to him and the authority he commands, we end up seeing this guy's a kiss ass, So he's D tier. Clark, fake Dwight, he's same. There's just nothing really I can really take away. Yeah, there isn't really. I don't know. He's like the worst of Jim and Dwight put together in a sense. So easy D tier. Mose. I mean, just because there's nothing really inherently bad about Mose, I'm not going to put him in the D tier. But he's just kind of there. Again, not really a auxiliary or even a supporting character on the show. He's Dwight's, I think, was his cousin or his brother, but he's just kind of there. And he doesn't really add anything. There's nothing really influential about him. Hank is an easy S tier level character. Hank is a god. Packer is another god. This guy is a true force of nature. While he is very much a negative force on the show, he's so there's just nothing that stops him. You know what I mean? Like, we see Gabe get walked all over. We realize Charles is a kiss ass. Clark very early on gets put in his place. But Packer, there is no stopping him. He gets sent to Florida, lands on his feet, pretends to go through rehab and drugs people with cupcakes. Packer's the man. Stanley, he's almost like he has qualities of being an S tier character, but he's very much a human being on the show, right? Like, I mean, he has his faults and he has his affairs and all that. So he's A tier. Holly Flax, that's an easy S tier character because she is obviously a perfect counterpart for Michael, but we don't really delve into many of her own faults or anything that. Yeah, we see that she's a human being, but nothing that really brings her down a level the way we see with Michael Scott or these other characters. But she's a fantastic character, and because she's such a perfect complement to Michael Scott, she's an S tier. Pam, I'm kind of torn between A and B, but because of her hypocrisy and making Jim leave athlete or athlete, and the fact that she got mad at him for investing in what was a good company, despite quietly investing in Ryan Howard's Woof.com venture, that puts her at the B tier. Daryl, another fun character, but he's not really a driving force. But we get a lot of good moments with him. But there's something where maybe we don't see enough of him. I'm not sure. But Daryl's a great character. We're going to put him in the B tier. Roy, once again, this guy is just here solely to be hated on, to be the bad guy on the show, and to have his only moments of real negativity on the show. And there's nothing really that makes you want to root for him. Dwight K. Schrute is a total S tier character. This guy is he's a machine. He is a force of nature. Nothing really stops him. And even though he has moments where he's like, oh yeah, no, wait, he's got a. It's not he has a human side. He has a humane side to him, and which makes the character even better. He is such a great character. Angela Martin, another one of the straight-laced characters. She plays a straight man on the show for a while, but much like Oscar, towards the end, we get to see him. We get to see her unravel a bit, and there's some fun to be had. And while she is meant to be this uptight, negative force in the office, there's still something about her that you want to like. I don't know what it is, but there's something about her that you can't lump her in with Gabe or Clark or Roy or any of these guys. She's not inherently. I don't know. Erin, though, on the other hand, is she's such a sweetheart. She's so cute. She's so great on the show. She really complements the environment of the office so well. But again, she does have her moments. I mean, the fact that she dates Gabe alone keeps her away from the S tier. That's an A tier though. Bob Vance of Bob Vance Refrigeration, S tier character. Plop, aka Pete, aka Fake Jim. There's nothing inherently bad about him, but he's not there as much. He has a very short run on the show. He's brought in to kind of be a successor to Jim, as same way as Clark is brought in as a successor to Dwight, and they even recreate the Jim and Pam story in a way with him and Erin, but he's kind of just there. He's whatever. I don't know who he is, C tier. Robert California, aka Rob Zemeckis, a fantastic character, and initially he is a total S tier character, but the way he unravels so quickly with his wife, going through his wife leaving him and that divorce and everything, we do get to see a very humanistic side of him. But he is such a great character with his non sequiturs and all these, just his unique way of thinking. Karen Filippelli. I mean, she's kind of there. She doesn't really have a big run on the show. Doesn't really have a big influence on the overall narrative. She's kind of there to prolong the Jim and Pam story. I mean, she's fine. She's there. She does her thing. Whatever. Kelly Kapoor, a total S tier. Like, once again, this girl is a force of nature. She's a lot of great lines, a lot of great moments, and yeah, she's not like as a human being, she's far from perfect, but she's almost very self aware about it, and she's just the way she controls it. And I also love the arc where she kind of becomes empowered when she becomes the business bitch. I really really love her involvement on the show. I think she's a great character, very underrated character. On the other hand, Ryan Howard. Again, there's nothing really. There's the idea of the character is great, and there's a lot of stuff you can, people can relate to that character. But he's manipulative. He's a douchebag. He's problematic. There's just so many issues with Mr. Ryan Howard that we're gonna put him in the D tier. There's nothing really redeeming whatsoever about him at all. I mean, even at the end, he gets this baby that he's taking care of, and then he just ditches it. Like, come on. Meredith Palmer is a great character because I feel like there's just a weird section of people that I think could relate to this Meredith Palmer character. And she's kind of like, she is full force, and she is very close to like S tier, but she's not because she doesn't have a major driving force on the show. We're going to put her in the B tier. Creed Bratton, do I need to explain it? But he's an S tier character all the way. Jan Levison Gould, this is another D level character because she's very manipulative. She has a ton. She's all she does is bring a lot of issues onto the show and to Michael's life. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing really redeeming about Jan, so we're gonna put her in the D tier. The Nard Dog. Andrew Bernard. I'm going to put him in the B tier, but I mean, there's a lot of great moments, and I thought he was a perfect replacement for when Michael Scott leaves. But he then has, he leaves the office for 3 months, and he costs him the White Pages, which is such a big account. Why would he do that? A B tier character. Toby Flenderson, Michael would want me to put him in the D tier. And it seems anybody that gets that managerial position in the office automatically just hates Toby because of this precedent that Michael Scott has set. But, I mean, really, Toby isn't a bad guy. He's not inherently bad whatsoever. And he's got a lot of moments. And, yes, is one of the most human characters on the show to a degree. He kind of gets a little cartoony towards the end. But, he is also not a big driving force. So we're going to put him in the C tier. Finally, we have D'Angelo Vickers. I'm going to put him in this C tier because he's not totally evil compared to some of these characters on the D tier, but he's just there for the most part. You know what I mean? For the short time that he's there, and he kind of turns a switch where there's a lot of negativity around him in the office. So for that, we're going to put him in the C tier. And that's it. That's the list. I feel like we might be missing a few people. Maybe some of Dwight's friends, like Rolf and the other dudes. But for the most part, it looks like all the major players are here. And this is my list. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know what you would have different. Let me know who's missing. Who else should we have? Should the Sea Monster be on there? I don't know. But that's my list. Thank you guys for checking it out. And I'm out. Peace.